view.
Welcome to Zone In Sports, your favorite spot for real talk, bold takes, and everything in the zone when it comes to sports. From hard-hitting analysis of the Miami Hurricanes football to the hottest stories across the sports world, we're bringing you that energy, passion, and a little bit of swagger, just like the U. So whether you're tailgating in the Coral Gables or arguing in the group chats or just vibing in your way to work, buckle up. You're in the zone with your host, D. Hamp.
All righty out there, man. We're going to hop right into it. We're going to give the people what they want. We're going to talk a little bit about the spring practice, or the fall practice, rather. And I wanted to start off with somebody that we talked a little bit about, but I think he deserves a lot of credit. He's got a big challenge ahead of him this year. It's Kevin Beard. He did an interview with Kane Sports. It's Kane Sports something. I have to look it up, put it down. And he talked a little bit about the receivers being unproven, but he did say he prided himself on development. He also said something that you always harken back to, is that everybody look at the 5 stars and the 4 stars, but he said he want kids that want to be there, because his reasoning behind that is that a kid that wants to be there, even when it's going bad, he's going to do everything it takes to make it good. So, and to make it work for him. So they started off asking him about JoJo Trader. And I thought it was interesting. He said that he didn't get a lot of opportunities last year that he wanted, but he was asked the question, what did he expect out of him this year? And he said, and I quote, said he could be the best in the country, but JoJo has to believe in it himself. So I thought that was interesting that he said that. And then they kind of dovetail in. I didn't like the way this question went. He asked him, he said, well, you played second fiddle to Jeremiah. You know, we talking about Jeremiah Smith.
In high school.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, I don't think he played second fiddle. I think they basically, let me find what he quoted, they tag team. And he said that JoJo path is his path, Jeremiah path is his path. Also said that JoJo came in at about 163, then put on almost 20 pounds. He's about 184, bulked up. All right, let's talk a little bit. What do you think about Kevin Beard's statement on JoJo and the slick division that they tried to do with Jeremiah and JoJo? So
that's that. You know what that is? That's that hate for Miami. We're gonna try every which way we can to put a chink in the armor of Miami. So yeah, they split. Jeremiah got all the shine in high school, but JoJo was just as good. And if he put on 20 pounds of muscle since the bowl game against Iowa State back in January,
Well, I think he might have meant since he came to the university, but I'm not sure.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Yeah. That sounds about right. 20 pounds since high school. I mean, he looked good in the bowl game with Cam throwing it to him. So I like what Kevin said, man. He's standing behind his guys. He's not falling for the banana in the tailpipe with all this division. And both receivers were really, really good receivers. Right. Jeremiah was really nice. JoJo was very nice. Jeremiah got all the shine. Maybe he outshined JoJo in certain areas. I'm not sure. I didn't follow the high school team, but okay, it is what it is. JoJo showed you he can be an elite receiver. And he can be very elite and very explosive, and he very well could be the one. And the biggest focus on is if he has a good season, you got to be damn sure that you keep an Alabama and a Georgia and other schools from trying to do what they did with that Isaiah kid from last year. Alabama snuck in there and got him away. Yeah. And Georgia got old boy from 2 years ago, even though he had domestic problem issues. He was, I forgot his name, from the 23 season with Miami. He had a really good year, and then he ended up transferring to Georgia. They're going to do all they can to take Miami's top players away from them. Right. Receiver-wise, your skill set players. So I like what he said. He stands behind his guys, and I expect a nice year out of JoJo. I expect him to be there along with Ray and the transfers that came in from the other schools. The LSU transfer, the dude from I believe there was a guy come in from BYU.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about him. We'll talk about in a minute.
He's supposed to be a special returner. So I'm not worried about who's going to get the ball. They've been saying, well, who's Beck going to throw it to? And the national pundit's going to throw doubt in there.
Right.
I think us as a fan base who follow the practices, who follow them during the spring and during the summer, we know it's not like Beck has nobody to throw it to.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So that's not going to be a problem, man. Right. I think for me, the receivers I don't see a problem. My issue is, I ain't gonna say issue with what type of offense are they gonna run all game long? How are they gonna attack teams? Are they gonna really utilize this offensive line to their capabilities?
Right.
Now I'm starting to hear rumblings about, Miami could possibly have the best or one of the best O-lines in the country. It ain't just,
and we're gonna get to that too, because Anez Cooper gave a great answer to what this is.
I didn't realize how big dude was, man.
They said he's about 400 coming when he first got to the university.
Oh boy,
340 or something.
Oh boy, a left tackle just as big as McKinney. He's 6'9". I mean,
yeah.
I'm hoping he gets his footwork a little bit better where he doesn't get beat off the edge like he did a few times last year off that left tackle. But this line could be wow.
Yeah. Now they talked a little bit about CJ Daniels, and he said that how can you bring CJ into the fold, like and marry him into the new offense? And basically, he said he has to be consistent, and says he has to be a consistent leader in the locker room. For his Malachi, I thought it was interesting because he was asked, "Do you think he could play right out the gate?" And he said, "Yes." He said he should be. He said, "You look at what he did as a freshman at high school, in the state championship game, and that tells you that he has the wherewithal and the skill set that he can come in and make a difference and get.
And he played quarterback too.
Yeah, and could get some playing time.
That's a bonus that he played quarterback, and now he's out there playing receiver in your slot. He knows where he can go and get in and fit in, and
right.
He's a special talent, man. Miami was very fortunate to land this young man because he reminds me of Santana, a little bit of Roscoe Parrish. He reminds me of, he ain't got the size of a Peter Warrick, but more Santana and Roscoe Parrish, speedy, shifty, got good hands.
Right.
I'm sure he could return punts and kicks, but they got other guys for that, So I'm watching Roscoe return a lot of. He did a lot of punt returns. He pretty much saved Miami in the title game against Ohio, where they set up for that game time field goal. But Malachi is a special guy.
Yeah,
he's a very special guy. And I've even read where people have said he should get a little click at quarterback on certain plays,
formation certain packages.
Let him play because he's got an arm, and they can do some wildcat with him. And we'll see what Dawson draws up. I think Dawson is going to be. He's got a little bit more to work with this year than last year. Even though Miami had a solid receiver core, solid guys with Restrepo and George and Sam Brown and Horton, your solid four.
Right.
He's got more than four, and he's got different skill sets that he can mess around with.
Right.
Elijah Lofton can do everything, play running back, fullback, tight end, slot.
Right.
And then you got the transfer tight end too that's got really good hands, and he can block. So and there's another tight end that's a blocking tight end. So I'm really hoping he really mixes this offense up and does some double tight end sets and does some different blocking schemes with Beck under center. And oh wow, I didn't know they did it like that.
Yeah. Hey, what's up now? Hey, what's up, Tyler? What's up, Brandon? Good to see y'all back in the building.
Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody with us today. It's a really lovely day in St. Louis. We don't have all this heat now like we've been having.
All right, next we're gonna hit. We were talking about returning kicks. He talked a little bit about Keelan Marion, and now this was interesting because I never thought about this from a returner trying to make him into a wide receiver and some of the challenges that they had to go through. And so the question was framed, how can you get him to be a productive wide receiver? And he said, when you deal with your with your punt returners, he said they do everything quickly. And of course, I've never returned punts, but I've been back there at practice and seeing that ball come down, and you do kind of speed stuff up in your head. You're thinking ahead. So he said that you got to slow them down thinking, because they think so fast because the ball getting there, they thinking what moves they got to make. And when you run receiver, sometimes you might have to sit down in the zone. Sometimes you have to set up stuff. So he wants to slow him down, Keelan, and he said once he slows him down thinking wise, he'll be okay. I thought that was an interesting take.
Yeah, absolutely. That especially with returning punts and kicks, because if you think too much and you try to make a move too fast, what happens? You muff the punt. You can muff the punt and give the ball right back to your opponent, and then you set yourself up for disaster. So I really think that in this case, that was the right thing to say and to work on the mental of it.
I thought that was interesting.
The most important thing is focus. Just catch the ball first. Once you catch the rock, then you can worry about the other stuff. But the most important thing is to secure the ball and not muff that punt, or if you're not going to catch it, get the hell away from it so it don't bounce off your leg or your body somewhere, and then the other team get it. You set them up. We don't want to do that. So
and when they switch to receiver, they are moving a little bit faster, and they're not understanding that. Sometimes you have to sit in them zones and everything like that. All right, next
it goes to show, Dwayne, they have so many receivers that can do so many different things.
Right?
He's going to have to play around with that. I don't think it's going to. I think JoJo going to be a solid out there. My man from LSU might be the number 2, maybe. We'll see.
Right.
Because you got other guys, so you're gonna have your 2 and your 3, and then if they go to a 4 wide receiver set, he gonna play around with who he gonna put out there. Ray is still there. Ray was returning, I think, punts last year. So we're gonna see over the coming weeks how they do this.
I also talked a little bit about Tony Johnson. Just said he needs to be consistent. He's a consistent pro. He said he brings a lot of stability to the locker room and being an older player. Thought he was very consistent. Talked a little bit about Josh Moore, the realistic chance of him getting on as a true freshman, and didn't really give a definitive answer on that, which I didn't expect him to, but said he has a lot of skill. And no, take that back. He talked about Josh Moore. They talked about Upshaw. I'm sorry, that Upshaw was the true freshman. Josh Moore, they talked about him being compared to Andre Johnson, and he didn't like that comparison, because it reminds me.
Beard didn't like it?
No, because, and when he said it, I'm going to tell you why. It made me think of something about when I played. Most athletes don't like to be compared to another athlete because, you mentally you want to find your own way. So that's what he was saying. He wasn't saying it as a slight against Andre. He said he needs to forge his own path. And players really don't like to be, we like to compare him to other players because of, hey, he looked a little bit like, or he built a little bit like. But most athletes, I would think, don't like to be compared to other players. So
I would rather say that person maybe remind me. Of, like I said, Malachi reminds me a little bit of Roscoe Parrish,
right,
and Santana. I'm not going to say they are the same because they're not. Santana was a track guy. So he reminds me a little bit of them.
Right.
So I'll go so far as to say that, but I agree with that. Everybody is their own individual. They can remind you of somebody with some of the moves and whatnot. I've been waiting for somebody to give me glimpses of McGahee.
Right.
I kind of thought, oh boy, that went to Louisville would do that, but the running back that left Miami that went to Louisville.
Yeah.
But he didn't. I'm kind of size-wise. Fletcher right now, he's the same size as McGahee, 6'2", 220 plus. I don't think he got the speed Willis got.
Right.
Or the shiftiness that Willis had. So everybody is different,
Yeah, true.
I ain't seen another Portis,
No.
You ain't seen another Gore yet. I mean, you're not. Everybody is their own individual. So I agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
Somebody may remind you, give you some glimpses or flashes of a previous player, but each guy is going to be their own guy. We're not going to see another Andre Johnson.
I agree. It says receiver by committee will propel us this year.
I think so. So. You don't have to necessarily, if they're all consistent, which is basically catching the damn ball, just catch the ball.
Yeah, that's
Give
it.
Beck what he didn't have last year.
Yeah.
Catch.
That's it. And then he
Just
also
catch the
says,
ball. And as I watch these other people talk about Beck, and now they're kind of saying, hey, it wasn't all on him last year. And they realized that his receiver core last year dropped a lot of balls. And they're starting to recognize that the O-line were missing people.
Right.
And he had no run game.
Mm-hmm.
So to rank other quarterbacks ahead of Beck now is kind of laughable to me when you look at their top 10 or who they got. It's like, come on, man. A year ago at this time, he was your number one quarterback coming into the season in college, was Carson Beck with Georgia.
True.
Now all of a sudden you done dropped this dude all the way down, and you got guys like Archie Manning ahead of him. And
right.
come on, man. You were throwing dirt at him, saying he wasn't a team guy, and he wasn't really with his team a lot in the locker room. And he's with his guys a lot. In Miami, they've been showing that they hang out, they got good camaraderie on the field, and hell, he only been there 7-8 months.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, was it a Georgia thing or was it a Beck thing?
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
See, I think they try to deflect a lot of stuff from Georgia and put it on him because they don't want Georgia to look bad, because they want to protect the image of the SEC. And it's like, y'all ain't even got Georgia winning the SEC. They got LSU winning it.
Right. That's crazy too.
So I mean, it's just when you watch all these different commentators and pundits and bloggers, it's like, okay, I see what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Now they kind of got to turn back a little bit because they realize it wasn't all Beck. They know Beck had to press.
Right.
He had to press. He said it out of his own mouth. Hey, man, I had to press. I had to be Superman because I'm throwing wide open receivers the ball and they dropping them on first down.
He should have said it, but he didn't say it. he said he had to press, but
I mean,
you should have said it.
And people are still, some of these guys are still scared with the over-under. I'm watching, I'm going under the 9.5 wins for Miami. Some of them, they still just don't. On one hand, they're saying Miami really got a really good-looking roster, and they match up well with Clemson, but there's always a but.
Right.
They can't bring up his arm.
Right. Yeah. No.
He's slinging it now. So, I mean, I like look at Sean got another one.
Right. I want to talk a little bit about somebody that we don't even talk about at all. And he gave a great interview, and that was Emry Williams. Backup quarterback.
I didn't see that.
Man, it was a great interview for any of you guys that saw it. And he talked a little bit about last year, about being behind Cam Ward and how he kind of let his guard down, and a way that affected him coming into the Pop-Tart Bowl. Mm-hmm. And he talked a little bit about how he thought that he relaxed a little bit and didn't have that doubt, wasn't competing because, Cam Ward was the guy. He didn't have to do as much, he felt like. So he said, but this year, all off season, he came in with a different mentality. He changed his number, he said. He didn't get faster. Even the numbers haven't been released. So he said he giving y'all inside. He changed it to number 8. So his number would be number 8 at the beginning of the season. Said he's stronger, faster. And he said, he didn't say this, but the way I took it was, even though he might not win this job this year from Carson Beck, he said he would be way more prepared than he was last year backing up Cam. Thought it was a great interview, interesting take. And he's setting himself up for next year because everybody's dismissing kind of like, oh, well, we're going to have Luke Nickel, or we're going to have Darian Coleman. No, he's trying to say, look, I'm putting in the work. I'm finna be the guy next year, which I like that attitude.
It's his last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, I applaud that. I've been an Emry fan since he broke his arm in that Florida State game, because to me, he gave his all.
Yeah.
He gave his all in that game, okay? And I realized, Shannon Dawson kind of limited him in other games, like the Clemson game that they won in overtime 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
In the bowl game earlier back in January. There were games, even in the Florida State game, they kind of limited him. Miami really should have won that game. The safety wasn't called. The defense was really just lights out in that game. And I think this time around, Emry knows that, he's got another year. He could transfer.
He talked about that.
Transferred. The young man could have went anywhere. He could have went to Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, Central. He could have went to another lower tier school, perhaps. Or even a school like a Purdue or Northwestern. He could have went somewhere and battled for a starting job and may have gotten it.
Right.
He could have done that, but he stuck it out. That has to be commendable and respected. The fan base has to recognize that. He put his body on the line for the team.
Right.
Okay? And he still stuck around. He could have said, man, screw this. I'm not getting a fair shake. They got Cam Ward. Now they turn around and get Carson Beck. Why don't they want to invest in me? He wasn't selfish. I noticed that about this team when I watched the different interviews. I didn't see his, but these guys aren't selfish.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Damian Lewis was alluding to with his interview about the D-line. These guys are not trying to look for individual accolades. If you want to win this thing, you cannot be selfish and be about me and what my stats are and what my individual thing is. Mm-hmm. It's all for one, one for all. It's different elements in the being a championship type caliber team this year. Right. Not just your positions, not just your coaching, but your attitude and the culture in the locker room.
Right.
And with these guys, from what I read, they all stayed the night in the locker room. They never went home. They trying to build something.
Right.
And I
want to harken back to what you said too, because Emry did say about taking accountability. He basically said that he trusts the coaching staff, and he said basically, in his words, that he just got to be better. If you want to start, you got to be better. And that's what made
I
respect that,
Yeah. I mean, he didn't blame anybody.
Right.
He didn't come out and say, man, they gave me limited plays, and he ran with what he ran with, and he just says, I got to be a better quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
He could have threw the team under the bus. He could have said they took all the starters off. They put me in. They didn't give me this and that. But no, he went out there and he said, hey, I still got to play better no matter who I own the field.
I believe our fan base has to recognize that. I think, especially our younger fan base, the ones that are, I'm not condemning all our young fan base now, but all of our fan base that are impatient or being impractical, they need to take a step back and recognize this.
Right.
Don't be like Florida State fans. Don't be like Georgia fans. Don't be like them. We don't want to be known as an obnoxious fan base. Miami is known to have an obnoxious fan base, and I think the majority of us are getting slapped with that label because of the minority of us that want it all right now.
Right, right.
And these steps are being taken, and let the national pundits and media say what they're going to say. I'm really hopeful that this team is going to surprise some people this year, and I'm really hoping this defense really steps it up. That secondary step it up.
I think it will.
I think it will. I think we, like I said, they're taking little shots at Miami. They take little shots at them about who they picked up and whatnot. And I'm like, you know what? It's it'll be okay. I think
it's gonna be okay. We're gonna talk a little bit about the tight end coach, Cody Woodiel. And he gave a good interview. I don't think we ever talked about Coach Woodiel on
and he's been there. This ain't his first year.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to mention.
Go ahead there.
This entire offensive staff has been together for 3 years now, with the exception of, I believe, the running back coach. There's been continuity with this offense. You've had the same OC, the same tight end coach, the same wide receiver coach. The only difference is the running back coach. This is, I think, his second year, I think.
Okay.
The rest of that offensive staff have been together. So you have some cohesion there. There's there's not a lot of change.
Right.
People are concerned about the defense. I think they'll be fine. But the offense is there. So going to the tight end coach, I think we're going to see some nice play with the tight end. I mean,
he talked about Lofton.
Yeah, and who was the tight end before?
He talked about Alex Brum. He talked about Luke Gilbert, and he
Yep.
talked about Brock's shot. And the funny thing, when he talked about Brock's shot, he said he's more of an H-back too. A lot of people kind of haven't seen him. He talked about Alex. That was the guy that you were talking about. He said he had elite ball skills, but really could play on the line of scrimmage, can handle, set the edge, block, do some of those things. And of course, Elijah is Elijah. So,
So
yeah.
if you got the guy that can play H-back, that's telling me you may have some I formation where he may play fullback, or you may have a split off type running plays, because I really believe they want to use this offensive line to really beat people up. And you got all your running backs are 200+ pound running backs.
Yeah.
And they're not just some average dudes. Fletcher Lyle and the kid they got from North Dakota State that led that FCS in rushing. I really think that's what Mario wants to do. And you got to understand, this is his team now. This is his 4th year. These are all his guys now, just like what he did at Oregon. These are his guys. All the Diaz guys are gone.
Mm-hmm.
These are his guys. And I really think he wants to beat teams up with the running game.
Yeah. Even when I watched a little bit of Heatherman's interview earlier this morning, preparing for the show, he was talking about how physical and how fast they want to play, and how creating turnovers is a must for the team. That's their sole focus, is whether it's attacking the ball in the running game, passing game, you have to create turnovers. You have to help your offense out. And he talked about playing fast and physical at the point of attack. I mean, and that's what we've been talking about for the last couple of months, is that last year they didn't play fast. They was on the heels a lot defensively, we're talking about. And they have to be a lot faster. So I thought that was interesting. Take this question real quick before we move on. I think this year could be a big turnaround, because now there is more of a challenge. Challenge in position versus position in practice. That's crazy, because Brandon, I did see, I don't know in which interview, might have been Heatherman's interview, and he talked about, or maybe, no, it was Kevin Beard's interview. He talked about having better cornerbacks this year, and it's no slight against the cornerbacks we had last year in practice, making it tougher for the offense. Iron sharpens iron, like we always say. So if you got better corners, it's going to push your receivers to get better. If you got better receivers, it's going to push your cornerback. So, it's an interesting battle going on, because I think the receivers in spring had the upper hand on the corners, and that's naturally because you brought a lot of guys in from different places.
Yes, they did. The springtime the receivers got off.
Yeah.
The first 2 workouts this past Friday and Saturday, or Thursday and Friday, when they were getting at it.
Yeah.
And the corners were getting the better of them this time.
Yeah.
Because they've had all summer to work out with each other. And they've been practicing, without coaches, with NCAA rules. They've been doing their own thing.
Right.
So I like the competition.
Yeah.
This is what you need. This is what they had 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Ed Reed and Buchanan and Mike Rumpf and them was battling it with Santana and Reggie Wayne, and they was going at it to the point where they weren't even talking to each other in the locker room.
Right. Oh, there was some vision in the locker room, like, hey, look.
There was some animosity between the two groups, because they was really going at it.
Hey, but that's, the funny thing about that, it always was like that. When I played football, I didn't like any of the offensive guys. When I wrestled, I didn't like anybody. I didn't even like the heavyweights. So to me, it's just natural. If you're competitive, if you're down there trying to make friends, you're in the wrong profession.
No, this is what you need. This is what they need this year. They need to have that. They need to have that. They need to have, I'm not going to say animosity. They just need to have that chip on their shoulder with each other.
Because it all comes together on game day, because you've been through that fire together. It's like, okay, I respect you.
Right. Your real enemy is on the other side of the field.
Right.
But if you could go into practice at the heck, indoor or outdoor, and make it hard on each other.
Right.
And that's the key, making it hard. And you got all this competition going on between the receivers and between the deep backs. And then they get out there and they going at each other.
Right.
They trying to prove something. That's what you want.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you want. All the fans should be really happy about this. This is exactly what you want. We don't have any. Diaz is gone. That type of coaching and locker room is gone now.
Yeah.
It's a different. We've been wanting a new atmosphere. We've been wanting a new attitude and culture with this locker room, and you got it now.
Hey, I don't think anybody can complain. Well, take that back, because if you guys seen the last video I posted, some of the fans in there, that's crazy. Might have been trolls, but I digress. It says only 4 weeks to go. Getting excited. Notre Dame having issues with quarterback. QB stepping up. Deep dive on the Gators. And the DJ can save them from Miami. It should be a great season, gentlemen. The funny part about DJ, I think he just returned to practice because of the strained calf I think he had. But I don't know what's going on with that situation.
I'm not. Listen, I agree with him, but at the same time, I'm not worried about Notre Dame. We'll deal with Notre Dame 10 days out. I'm not worried about the Gators because I'm not wishing for nobody to get hurt or anything like that. I want them to be at full strength.
Yeah.
I want Notre Dame to be at full strength because if what I'm predicting happens, all these so-called pundits and experts are going to have to go back and scramble papers and rethink their stuff. Because if Miami wins this game against Notre Dame, and if they win it by double digits, which is a very good possibility, I'm not taking nothing away from the Irish because they still got a secondary, they still got some ballers. But if Miami wins this game, I just want them to win. I don't care if you win 21-20, just get the W.
Right.
If they win this game, it's going to be a lot of paper shuffling going on.
Right.
And if LSU beats Clemson the day before, it's going to really be a lot of paper shuffling going on. So I'm not worried about these other schools because trust me, they're going to be looking for insufficient things with Miami. It's going to be people hoping that Beck gets hurt or hoping that somebody get hurt. And we keep our fingers crossed that we don't have any injuries in practice.
Right.
And just nose to the grind, get better, focus on the team, focus on what we got to do on offense and defense, and get better. Figure out who your starters are going to be. And you know they're not going to stay in the game because you got a lot of depth. So it ain't really about who's going to start. Okay, fine. So-and-so may start, but the guy behind him is going to get some click. We want everybody to be on the same page. Catch, block, run, tackle. That's the biggest thing about it. Okay? Right. So I ain't worried about Notre Dame. We can worry about Notre Dame around August the 17th or something, about 2 weeks out. Then we can start worrying about Notre Dame and what they're going to bring to the table. I don't care what they do. Let them deal with what they got to deal with. I care about what's going on down in Miami, and I ain't worried about the Gators. I predict Miami to be 4-0 going into the bye week before they play Florida State, and 5-0 to the next bye week, and then they got Louisville. So, but before I'm not even going to jump that far ahead. Right now, Miami is 0-0, and they in full pass today for the first time. They're in full pass today, and let's get it.
And we just pray that they all come out unscathed.
That's
and
right.
Nobody get hurt.
Nobody get hurt.
But and we all know it's football, so anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Hey, talk a little bit about the Carson Beck interview that you saw and how you said that he was playing, or from what you saw, he looked really strong throwing the ball. He looked really good at practice. So the fans out there can know if they haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, go check him out. But he looked really good. He looked really sharp. I mean, there were a couple of balls that got away from him, but that's anybody. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
The best quarterbacks, they're going to get away from me. So first few days of throwing, now they're going to be in pads. I like the way he took accountability for himself during ACC media days. You know, he didn't blame Georgia. He didn't blame his receivers, even though he had every right to. If you go back and watch those games, he was hitting wide open receivers for Georgia in third down and long situations, and these dudes was dropping the ball.
Right.
Okay. They had butterfingers so bad. So anyway, he admitted he had the press and he was trying to do too much and he was trying to be Superman. And he knew what he had to work with. He knew his O-line wasn't, his best O-linemen weren't out there.
Right.
He knew he didn't have a running game. He's got everything in his favor this year. All he's got to do is replicate to a certain degree what Mr. Dorsey did 20-some years ago and just be a good game manager. He's a better passer than Dorsey.
Right. Yeah.
He's a better passer than Ken was. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
So all he's got to do is go out there and just manage the game. Let your other playmakers do what they do. Let them big guys up front do what they do best because they really battling with each other.
Right. Yeah.
That O-line is battling with each other.
O-line.
They got a lot to prove. They feel like that's another.
I meant to touch on that. That's what the Anez Cooper said.
You got the same O-lineman except for this the center.
Right.
And he was the best center in the Big 12. So,
right.
Hey.
The only thing that you say that, I didn't even touch on that when Anez Cooper, I think he said in some ranking, I don't know what, was it a national ranking or what ranking? He said that they had them ranked the number 8th offensive lineman in the nation. And he said, I feel like we're the best offensive line in the nation. We bring it back almost everybody. So we taking everything personal. I thought that was
personal, man. They see what's going on. These kids read. They know what's on the internet. They read blogs. They read what's out there. They watch ESPN. They see what these commentators and so-called college folk are saying.
Right.
And of course they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder.
Right.
Because all they hearing about is last year, what could have been. Y'all had the best offense, but I had to go on Twitter and check a couple people because writers, they coming out saying Miami had one of the best offenses in the country last year. I had to go back and remind them. They had the best offensive
right,
one of the best.
Right.
But I said, when you people come out and put that out there, you're not being truthful.
Right. Right. Hey, I agree. I agree.
And this is a certain somebody that is she on ESPN. I'm not going to say her name.
Yeah, I have to.
But she piggybacked with the guy wrote from On 3 about Miami having one of the best offenses. I'm like, no, they had the best offense. They led in every category.
Right.
So
hold on 1 second.
They see this, man. They see this. All the players see this.
All right, we got 64 people in the building. Smash that like button out there. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I'm going to pull up here, Tim. I'm going to open up the link too if anybody wants to come on and chop it up in a second. He said full pads, and you know Cream going to rise to the top at the end of the day. Who's bringing that heat? Yes, sir. I agree.
I think they all going to bring the heat.
Yes, sir.
I think all these kids got something to prove, whether they going to start or be second string or third string. They competing, and we got competition in the room at every position.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody got to roll the field. Everybody fighting. I love it. Full pass today.
Yeah. And
we'll see the highlights later on today in the morning.
You know, some pent up anger out there, boy. They've been waiting all year to get it.
Yeah, it's some pent up anger, man.
and look, you're gonna have some little scuffles out there, but that's to be expected. It's one thing to look out for when you decide to look at Notre Dame will be our tight ends versus their defense. Notre Dame defense ranks second in the region, in the nation, against tight ends.
Okay, that's great. Good. This is where play action come into play.
Right.
This is why I said, to you, I hope Shannon mix up this offense where he can add some play action there because the tight end is open on the play action. Yeah. If Miami is running the ball and they're running the ball well against Notre Dame,
right,
they're going to start creeping them linebackers up and the safeties up to get in the box. Because if Fletcher and Lyle are having a nice time getting 4, 5, 6 yards of pop,
right,
they're going to have to make up for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now Lofton and the other guys, if you're running a 2 tight end set, now somebody can be open with the play action. This is where I think some of that quarterback on the center might come into play if Shannon incorporates some of that. Because I tweeted him and Mario on that. I tweeted them both, and I was very respectful. Like, man, I really hope you guys can incorporate some of this under center, if not an I formation, single backs. Because I watched the 03 team. I just got to, man, they was killing teams with, because Brock Berlin looked like boo-boo. Okay, but they had a big line and they was He did. He was stinking it up. They lost
Right.
to Tech. They lost to Tennessee. They was putting Crudup in the game. I'm like, but the one consistent thing they had was they were able to run the ball with that big line with Eric Winston up there.
Yeah.
And I said, man, with this line we got, and you put them in a 3-point, Anez Cooper and Maui Noga, you put these guys in a 3-point stance and get behind them and just eat.
Yeah.
They're going to wear some defensive lines down.
I'm going to say this one last time about the Notre Dame game. All we got to do is match physicality.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it all boils down. I didn't watch Notre Dame a lot last year, year before. You have to be physical with them.
Northern Illinois was.
Yeah, if you're not physical, you're not going to win the game.
That's what Northern Illinois did and shocked everybody.
The key. Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to go right at them. They looking for you to try to use speed. No, you got to go right at them. And if you do that and you physical at the point of attack, you run the ball, it's going to open up other things. That's the last thing I'm going to say about that game. All right, we're going to move on. Say one thing to look out for when you decide, no, we already read that. This is from, well, I'm not going to read back your handle. It says,
I saw that too.
Yeah, I saw a stat. Mario was 4-11 in November, and Miami so far this season will come down.
I'm glad he brought that up.
Okay.
I've been hearing, I'm sure we've all heard this a lot lately about Miami plays at Pitt. The end of the game, it's going to be cold. I'm worried about that game. Why y'all worried about that game? Why is everybody worried about this game? I want to know. I just got through watching Miami play Pitt. Now, granted, it was 2003, the last game of the year, and the winner wins the Big East. It was 29 degrees in Pittsburgh. They went up to Pitt and ran the ball down their throat. Sean Taylor had like 2 or 3 picks. They had Larry Fitzgerald. He was trying to get a Heisman. They shut Rutherford down at quarterback. They wasn't worried about no cold.
Right, right.
So why has this team got to be worried about the cold? Why are we so concerned about the cold?
That's because I keep going back to it. You said it best. The physicality. You're not worried about it if you cold. If you're a physical team,
if you physical, you
travels cold or hot. It doesn't make a difference.
The temperature, I'm like, they didn't mention one thing about Miami coming up to the cold to play Pittsburgh then. So why is it a problem today?
Yeah.
This ain't the first time they played up in the cold.
No.
They played up at Rutgers in the cold.
Yeah.
They played Boston College in the cold. This is football. We're going to play in the heat. You're going to play in the cold. Why are you worried about – why does this keep coming up? Well, Miami's got to go play in the cold. Right. So –
yeah.
With this offensive line, like you said, you bring up the physicality. What are you worried about?
Your big guys want it to be cold. They want to put that pain on people in the cold.
They put that pain on Pittsburgh, and then they play action pass to Roscoe for a deep one because they ran the ball down their throat. So it's got to be the same thing this year. You got to run Fletcher and Lyle and the other young man from North Dakota State. You got to run the ball down their throat. That's all you got to do. Keep running the ball, and boom, sooner or later you're going to pop one over the top because they're too worried about you running the ball. They're going to stack the box.
Right.
Match the physicality. They can't match up with your offensive line.
Right.
Their D-line cannot match up with you.
Yeah. If you're the best offensive line in the nation, you got to prove it. You got to prove it. You got to prove it on the field. And you got to give them the opportunity to prove it too.
Right. So by the third and fourth quarter, you should have worn them down enough where Fletcher and Lyle might break a long one on them.
Right.
I'm watching Tyrone Moss eat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, there's no difference. This line is better than that line.
That goes back to what Redhead Canes just said. If they rank Miami 8th O-line, that means we're number 1.
I don't even want to be number 1.
Right.
I don't even want to be number 1. Give it to Notre Dame. Give it to somebody else. Fine. Let them kids feed off of this. Right. They know what they got.
Yeah.
They know what they got. Let them feed off it. Let the be number 8. Be number 8. Let Carson Beck be. I don't know about Beck. I don't know about the secondary. They didn't get really great guys. They got some nice dudes. Old boy from Tennessee, my man that came from Liberty. He's supposed to be the number 1 corner out of that conference. Shutdown corner.
Right.
Oh, boy, that came from Wisconsin. There's a reason why they want to keep him in Wisconsin. They're trying to sue Miami and bring all this up. Let them say what they want to say. Now I love it. Now we got competition.
Hey, I'm the same way. I see the talk that says, I was watching the Miami versus Texas Tech game from 1990. It's scary how Mario has recreated that team. Go watch it if you want to know what we look like that year.
That 90 team, and that's the year they lost to BYU the first game. When Ty Detmer went off and that's when Michael Irvin called the team after the game and went off on them, and Ty Detmer won the Heisman, and that 90 team was a bad team.
Yeah.
They had Russell Maryland on that team. And hey, listen, that's another one. They ran the ball a lot. They ran that ball a whole lot in that game. The next year in 91, they ran that ball. Mario trying to build teams like what he played on.
Yeah.
The only difference is now you got so much shotgun with this spread offense. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that he and Shannon bring some of that. Okay, we're not gonna change. We're gonna still run spread. We're gonna still run a little air raid, but I'm hoping with this line, they bring some under center. They run a little I formation. If you don't run an I formation, fine. We run a double tight end, single back set. Well, we running the ball, try to stop us.
Right.
I want my guard and tackle in a 3-point stance where they not backing up doing this. They going forward, blowing off the ball and knocking somebody back. Or the guard going to go out and hit the linebacker that's trying to come in and run some counters and traps because you got the backs to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking for.
It says, what's that? Heart of is that? I can't see that. It's a Heart of Sport or Heart Sports. Shout out to you boys. 30 minutes behind. Hey, that's all right, man. You heard, you tapped in, so that's all that makes a difference.
You tapped in. That's all that matters.
I got a question. It says, do you guys think players get hurt easier in college because they're overworked in the weight room?
No, I think guys get hurt because they don't play hard.
Yeah. I mean, because that's
tough, man. But I think strength and conditioning coach knows when to cut it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, because a lot of people think the guys work harder today. I just think it's more specialized today. Back in the 80s and stuff, you really kind of did. I mean, it was guys going balls to the walls because it wasn't a lot of it was science, but not the science that you have now to sports training. So you had guys really overtraining back in those days.
And they're not doing 2-a-days like we used to do.
They do a 2-a-day. It wasn't a lot of regulation. Hell, you didn't even have water breaks in the 70s and the 80s. So, you didn't have none of that stuff that was regulated. So you really had to go through the meat grinder back in those days.
I miss them having them 2-a-days. You had that morning practice and then you had that evening practice after it cooled off a little bit. You back out there again for 2 hours getting it in. So.
And you talk to a lot of the older players, they think that's why. And it's not just in football, in basketball and these other sports, they think because of it's not as tough of a
that's what creates your injuries.
That's creating the industry injuries.
That's what a lot of injuries. They wearing these little baby boy JFL shoulder pads.
I thought he was gonna say the shorts.
That too. They're not wearing all the thigh pads and tailbone pads and hip pads we used to have to wear.
Right.
They think it's gonna slow them down, and I promise you, that ain't gonna slow you down.
Right. Yeah, and it's crazy because I just think that, a lot of these guys, the injury comes from, it's just a lot of them just not ready at the beginning of the season. It just depends team by team. Some stuff is fluke accidents and stuff, but I don't think it's for weight training, especially with the science that they have today in today's game. If anything, probably need to push them a little bit harder. So Cooper in the O-line is a beast. Yeah, we agree.
Right.
This is what is it says Ty Detmer had a good O-line versus Miami and the country. You agree with that? Ty Detmer had a good O-line
that year?
Yeah.
In 90, he did because he put up some stupid numbers.
Yeah.
He put up some stupid numbers. I mean, look at the numbers he put up. He won a Heisman. He didn't do much in the NFL, but
Somebody put up here. It says that's an ugly stat. Guess who Miami's playing November 1st to kick off the month of November? Miami at SMU. Oh, it's gonna be warm. Well, Dallas could it can get a little tricky down there with weather, but it ain't gonna be cold like in the Northeast.
I would be more concerned with Louisville at home versus at SMU.
And why?
Because SMU lost a lot of players. A lot of the star players they had last year, they graduated and gone. Now they're bringing their quarterback back.
Yeah, Jennings, yeah.
But I don't think SMU is going to be able to stack up with Miami in the trenches. Again, this comes down to trench warfare.
Yes, sir.
Miami, I think their biggest test in the trenches is going to be the first game of the year because you're going to be playing a team that's equally as good in the trenches. They got a couple D linemen. They got a D tackle that's going to be possibly an NFL first round pick. You got an O line that's as good or better than ours with Ohio, even though their best guy broke his arm on the damn ATV. They got depth too. That's why I say if Miami, like you said, if they match Notre Dame's physicality, they can win that game. If they win that game, who else do you see on the schedule that matches up with Miami in the trenches?
Right. Yeah.
In the trenches. Mario, that's why he's been saying this since he got there. I'm going to build from the inside out. He knows that I can beat you down in here.
Right.
It's like old basketball. I can beat you in the paint. If I got a 7-footer, if I got a Shaq Olajuwon in the paint, who you going to stop me with? You can shoot all the deep threes you want and have perimeter shooters, but if I go inside, I'm going to score every time, or you're going to foul me because you can't stop me. You got nobody.
What I've been saying after that, I said once he built inside out, you're going to start getting your top tier skill players because they're going to see this big massive offensive line that I can.
I said everybody don't be upset about Cooper.
Yeah.
Don't be upset about old boy that went to Syracuse. It's another kid at Northwestern that's better than him.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, hey guys, I put the link in the chat. If you guys got a question, you want to come on, keep it to 2 minutes.
Please, come on,
smash that link. You want to ask us something, want to
hear,
talk to us, smash that. 72 people in the building.
Smash
that like button out there and share this content.
Ask questions.
It says O-line needs to have their hand in the dirt and Beck needs to be under center. No question. Physicality is a must.
I agree, Mr. Johnson. I totally agree. I really think that you're going to have the spread. And I think that spread really fit Cam Ward a lot last year. He's not going to run the very same offense this year with Beck.
Right.
Beck played in a lot of spread too. Mike Bobo was his offensive coordinator at Georgia, but we all know that I think Dawson is a better OC than Bobo. So I agree, man. I really think if that O-line can eat and get in the 3-point stance and just pound away, not going to break one every time. That's got to be realistic. But if I can pound away and force the defense to, okay, now we got to start creeping the linebackers up. Now the safeties got to start, maybe even both of them. That's when you can pop one over the top.
Yeah.
That's when you get a Ray or a Malachi to break one. If you go into maybe a 3-point stance and then, 6 guys on the line and you looking like you going to run, then you can pop that play action on them.
Right.
There, Shannon, I got full faith in Mr. Dawson. He know what to do.
Yeah, hey, he's been around a long time. It says 240 says, I don't care how great your DBs are. If you got a good line, they can't hold up. You mean a good offensive line?
I think what he meant to say is if you don't have a good D-line.
Okay.
Because the D-line going to put pressure on him, and he won't throw the ball as quickly like he did last year.
Yeah, so he's trying to say, okay.
Last year, like what Kyle McCord did with the Syracuse game, he took 3 steps and was able to drop and throw because everybody was open.
Well, yeah,
it was bad communication going on the back end.
And you got to give McCord some credit too. He was good. I mean, sometimes when guys just got that quick release, it reminds me like of the Peyton Manning days. You could even get or Kurt Warner. It didn't matter how quick your defensive line was. Sometimes guys can just get the ball, and some guys can get release, and it's you just got to keep them in front and tackle. That's the thing.
Tackle.
Yeah, tackle. When these guys get open.
McCord showed you at Ohio State he was good. He just was the scapegoat for Ryan Day's blunder when they played Michigan.
Yeah,
because Michigan knew how to play them. Michigan, they play a lot of in-your-face man.
Right.
we're gonna dare you to throw the ball. You're gonna have to run the ball on us, and they played the run well.
Right.
I think Miami not getting the. I think Miami's linebackers are really. They got the depth. Miami got some damn good linebackers, man.
Yeah.
You got this Torrey kid from Rutgers.
Yeah.
I've been watching him in some workout drills
Mhm.
on and off the field. I'm like, well, if dude had an ACL problem, it's not evident now because he looked like he ready, and him and the Saints should eat.
Right.
And all the guys behind them, again, you got a lot of good competition with the linebackers.
Right.
So this D line is going to be special. The only question mark, which is legit, is that defensive tackle. You would like to have another D tackle. I'm really hoping Justin Scott, the five-star, break out this year.
I think he will. I think he gave an interview, but I didn't watch it all. So
I hope the kid breaks out, man, because when I watched this 03 squad, they were double teaming the hell out of Vince Wilfork, which freed up Patter. It freed up Baraka Atkins a lot. People forget about Baraka.
Oh, yeah.
Got drafted by Seattle.
Yeah.
It freed them up because they were double teaming Vince so much.
Yeah.
They were trying to run the ball at Vince, and they double teamed him a lot. And when they got into passing situations, the other guys got freed up. So I think this is going to be the same situation. Pick your poison. Who you going to double team? You going to double team Bain?
Right.
What about Mesidor?
Right.
What about Scott? If Scott is what they say he is,
go put it on the field and show us.
Oh man, we're going to have to see, because I'm like, if this boy can come out and do his thing at D tackle.
It says Carson Beck ran a lot under center I formation at Georgia. I think they're going to mix it up.
I hope you're right, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Martin, I hope you are right. I don't want to mispronounce your last name, but I hope you are so right.
Yeah. Question. What do you guys think about Miami starting in a 4-3 against Notre Dame? 4-3 defense takes advantage of their defensive line depth and their athleticism of their linebackers. I'm going to start off by saying it really depends on Heatherman, because that's just not his scheme. So I don't know.
And it depends on what Notre Dame. If Notre Dame come out with, I mean, look, Love is going to get some yards as a running back.
Oh, yeah. Jeremiah.
If Miami shut him down, then that's going to be big.
The interesting question about that is because I always say Notre Dame played more like a Big Ten school.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's going to be their game to try to run it down Miami.
Yeah, so Heatherman is used to that type of style coming from Minnesota in the Big Ten. So it won't be something that he hasn't seen before. It's an interesting take because I know why you got a lot of gap responsibility in the 4-3. You don't have to take up as much space, because you have that extra lineman up there, two tackles.
You don't have to do as much. Just
you can
stay in your gaps.
Put a lot of pressure on your backers, though, because they got to be able to make tackles in there because they're trying to keep you clean so your backers can get out and make tackles. But that's an interesting take. I came from a 4-3, so of course I'm biased to a 4-3, but
I am too.
Yeah, but
they run a 4-2 with a like a nickel type, rover type, striker type backer. Like I said, it's going to depend on what type of offense Notre Dame coming with. Are they going to try to power run Big Ten? Because like you say, Heatherman's used to that. He come out of Minnesota. I want to see what who they played last year as far as Minnesota. I'm gonna look them up. I want to see who they played last year.
Minnesota.
Yep, I want to see who they played last year and how they looked last year. As far as
I know they had a top. I know it had to be a top 10 defense last year, didn't it?
They was like number 7 in the country, if I'm not mistaken. If I think I heard right, they were number 7 overall, and they were one of the top defenses in the Big Ten. And they damn near should have beat Penn State. They shut Penn State down. So I'm very interested in seeing how they do. They shut Virginia Tech down.
Penn State, play Illinois, UCLA, Maryland, Rutgers, Wisconsin.
Who else they played? They didn't. I mean, they didn't play the top tiered. I don't think they played Ohio State. I know they played Penn State. I'm pretty sure they played Iowa.
Yeah. USC. They
Okay.
played UCLA, Maryland, Minnesota, Illinois, Rutgers, Penn State, Wisconsin, and on the bowl game they played Virginia Tech.
They lost to Penn State by a point.
Yeah.
1 point.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Interesting take on that. So
they lost to Iowa, but they had Minnesota. They lost to North Carolina by 2. They lost to Wisconsin. They got beat pretty bad by Iowa. Is that last? That was in 23.
Yeah, that's 23. Okay, so it says well, nowadays they have to report injuries more. In the days past, they didn't have to, and guys played through multiple injuries. Yeah, guys did, and
it hurt the team.
Yeah,
in some instances it could hurt the team. Bain was hurt last year. He wasn't 100%, and he just didn't have that step,
right?
Because he had that hammy problem. And I watched his interview. You know, he lost some weight. He said he backed down to his high school size.
Right.
And
in full context, people had to play more because you didn't have as much opportunity. You had a lot of depth.
You didn't have
guys will take your position if you didn't play. So that's why guys played hurt now. Now, well, such and such out, you put them out and blah, 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 bring them back.
And that's why today, even with the quarterback position, you really want to make sure your number 2 is solid.
Yeah.
Because if your number 1 get hurt, that could be your season. You saw what happened to those fools up in Seminole Country a couple years ago when old boy got hurt. Travis.
Yeah.
I'm going back to this. Back 2003. When Brock Berlin was looking like doo-doo, Crudup came in. Crudup wasn't all that hot.
Right.
And he wasn't all that hot behind Dorsey. Dorsey just never got sacked, so you never had to worry about him getting hurt.
Right. Got about 78 people in the building. Smash that like button. If you ever subscribe. It says Miami ranked 5th in average yards rushing. Miami offensive line helped transcend Cam Ward to the number 1 pick. Ranked 51st average in yards per rushing. And offensive line allowed 2 QB hurries, I believe. How is this better?
How are the Lizards better? Well, it's like this, man. Again, everybody need to understand. Miami gonna catch heat from the national media. They're gonna pick apart all the little deficiencies with the team.
Right.
Have your naysayers and detractors. The key is don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't argue with Notre Dame fans. Don't argue with Georgia fans or Florida State fans. I ain't arguing with none of them. I read what they say. Okay, you entitled to your opinion. I can shake my head. All right. And I say, well, we'll see August 31st.
Yeah.
Game. That's all I can say, man.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I'm not gonna argue with these people about, people picking Notre Dame to win by double digits.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that too.
Blow Miami out. They said the same thing in 2017, and you saw what happened.
Right.
I know you
they
can't.
Said the same thing about Northern Illinois too. They were supposed to get blown out too, right? So it says Carson Beck love tight ends.
Well, he's supposed to. He had Brock Bowers. I mean, shit. I'm picking Brock. If Brock, my fantasy league, if he's there, the pick come back around to me. You think
I took him? It's my first tight end last year. People was looking at me like I was crazy.
Him. If Lamar's there, I'm taking Lamar, and if Brock Bowers is there, I'm taking him, and if McConkey there, I'm taking him.
Yeah, it says I believe they added McConnelly to the DL depth chart. So now you have Moten, Scott, Blay, Brown, Jones, and McConnelly.
Well, good. They said the one dude that transferred in from the other school, a lower tiers, what's the dude? He played D tackle. He changed his body composite being there because they didn't have the same type. He came from
Give us 1 second, Brandon. I'm gonna bring you up there in 1 second.
I can't think of the name of the school he came to. Hold on a second. This might be by my boy's toe.
Okay. I'm gonna pull you down for a second and then I'm bring him up. What's going on, my man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Nothing much, man.
Oh,
How's it
man.
going? What you got for us today?
Oh man, first of all, just good to be on with you guys, man.
No problem.
Yes, sir. And enjoying being a Miami Hurricanes fan these days, man.
Yes, sir.
We, finally got look like everything in order to take things to another level. I'm
All right,
thinking.
what do you think about some of the interviews that went on this week with some of the players out there?
I've caught a few of them, man. I like the way some of the guys is talking.
Okay.
Especially, like CJ Daniels, where, when he was kind of talking like, some people try to discourage him from coming to Miami, but he was like, well, that's going to change when I get there. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I like talk like that. I like to hear, Carson Beck saying, that he wanted to come to Miami because I didn't know it. I didn't know that he was actually committed to Miami. And then he flipped, decommitted or whatever, and decided to go to Georgia. I never knew that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that either until Bigger Than E told me that. I didn't know he had was on his way to Miami.
And then he went to LSU, right?
I mean, that I don't
And then
know.
he wound up going to Georgia.
Receiver.
No, we talk about Carson Beck.
Oh, Beck. Yeah. He wasn't committed to Miami. I thought, well, maybe he was.
Yeah, he said he was committed.
He was committed to Miami.
Yeah, he said he was committed to Miami. Then I don't know if he flipped or he just decommitted and decided to go to Georgia.
I can't remember either. I just know when he got to Kirby and got to talking to Kirby, and once again, what was Georgia doing?
Yeah, well, they was with it, but it was that Mark Richt had resigned, got fired or whatever. So,
he resigned. He retired because
yeah. So maybe if we would have kept Richt, Carson Beck probably would have came to Miami.
Could have been.
Yeah.
I think Rick had health issues plus his age.
Yeah.
And the Diaz hire was such a debacle.
Yeah.
Blake James, AD, thank God he gone.
Right.
Thank goodness.
I'm gonna put this question up there, and we all three could take a stab at it. It says, "What do you think should lock down the middle linebacker position? It should be who do you think should lock down the middle linebacker position, and who do you like at the nickel?"
Well, since you really don't have a true middle linebacker, I like Toure in the middle. And I like Besaint because Besaint can cover side. They both can. Besaint can cover sideline to sideline. And the nickel guy is the guy they got from I think they leaning toward him as the
one they brought from Wisconsin?
No,
he corner, right?
The guy from Ole Miss. Was it Ole Miss or Auburn? Auburn, I think it was.
He's a DB though, right?
He played the nickel. That was his specialty, was playing that nickel position.
The Scott.
I want to say he was from Auburn or Ole Miss, but his specialty was the nickel. That third receiver, that was his specialty. It was Auburn.
It was Auburn, yeah.
They moved him.
Last name Scott. I forget his first name.
They moved him to corner, and he suffered at cornerback. He digressed playing corner. His true position was playing that third slot receiver. He was really good at that at Auburn that year. He was a shutdown guy at that slot. So that's what I think they're going to look to get back on his ways with that as far as playing that third receiver, because he was really nice at Auburn when he played that.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of thinking, maybe give Popo a chance. I mean, he the little time that he did get last year, to me, like Popo was balling.
Aguirre, nice linebacker. I like him, dude.
He was balling.
He got a motor.
Yeah,
he gave the energy and the effort.
Yeah, he's got a motor on him. He has a real motor. I like him.
I feel like he just needs to just play more.
Listen to Heatherman's interview. He sounds like he's kind of big on the rotation in certain positions too. So that's interesting. From what I listened to, he was like, okay, we rotated this many guys at DN. We rotated a couple guys at linebacker, depending on the situation. And then you had situational packages too that he had, But so it sounds like he's saying that you kind of take it for what it's worth, that the best person going to play. But if you in that top rotation, you're going to get playing time. That's what it sounds like. He might go 4 at line, 5 at linebacker in a rotation package system. So not really sure on what he's going to say. He's keeping a lot to the vest, which he should, not releasing a lot to the public.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that that was kind of what I was calling in for, that I'm thinking that we'll take another step forward. Some people is tripping out on some of these other podcasts and YouTube channels and all that type of stuff there. And the thing that I like about Mario is that he on pace for what he said from the first time he got here,
right.
Which is it was going to take year 5 or 6 before we look like a championship competitive team.
Right.
And so we're going into year 4 for him, and now we got more guys being challenged in practice. You got the DBs winning some and the receivers winning some. And past years it wasn't like that. Now you got the linebackers kind of bringing a little heat. The D line and the O line and rebound, they look so good under Mario because he put them in place kind of right away. What I'm saying? And they was already competing hard against each other, putting a challenge toward one another.
Right.
So this year right here, I think the offensive line gonna be like stellar.
I think it was easier for Mario too to get the lineman, that recruiting with the lineman, since he was a lineman. It's harder for a lineman to get skill players. You got to have the barrier to those guys to go out, but then they still have to see that top-notch line in place. Because all skill players want to do, they want to eat. That's all they want to do. They don't. If you got a line that they know gonna block, they'll come.
And I think Mario too is trying to stay away from certain attitudes. I think he's trying to get like attitudes, in the room, instead of guys who could be a little troublesome, or have some kind of coaching issues like that. Because I'm sure all that stuff gets reported to these coaches when they're going to recruit.
You seeing what Georgia going through now, boy? They've been in the news a lot this year.
I just think Mario's like, he ain't sacrificing your behavior for talent. I think you have some behavior issues, but you're highly talented. I think Mario gonna pass on you.
And that might make a lot of fans upset, but it is what it is. It says Minnesota Gophers football team defense was ranked 5th in the nation in terms of total yards allowed per game, averaging 285.7 yards. I knew it was pretty high. I didn't know it was that high.
I said 7. See, now just think if Miami would have had that. Well, I'll stop. Let me stop.
You go ahead.
Last year's water under the bridge.
Oh, okay.
But I'll say this about last year. We had a very talented quarterback who could have took us far, but at the same time, I don't think he came here for that. He came here just to improve his draft stock, and that's what happened. And I think that we as fans, we just have to accept it. They didn't bring him here to take us to ACC championship. That was just like if it come along with it, then let's do it. But he came here to improve his draft stock, and that's what it was all about.
And it was, and Mario needed him because it still put him in a better recruiting cycle. Having Cam here, everybody benefited in a way, in the long term. So a lot of people don't look at it that way. Say Carson is going to eat this year. He is winning in the SEC. Beat some of the very good teams. I just think it's better talent in the SEC than the ACC.
People say all this stuff. I don't.
I mean, that's debatable. You could say that in some areas the SEC does have the better talent. They overall as a conference, you got more teams. Auburn's going to have a very good D line. LSU is going to have a very good D line. Ole Miss, a very good D line.
Right.
Tennessee is going to have a good D line. Florida has a very good D line. You're not going to get that in the ACC. You're going to have 2 or 3 teams, probably Miami, Clemson, and Florida State, that are really in the trenches, dominant. The rest of them are average, maybe a little above average. Okay. I don't expect Louisville to have anything that I'm worried about. Syracuse, North Carolina may have a player or two. I don't expect Virginia and Duke to have, world beaters on the line. That's why I'm saying overall as a conference, yes, the SEC, they're going to have better linebacker cores. Those teams are going to have better defensive lines. They constantly get these big dudes out the South that go there that are 4- and 5-star kids. They go into LSU. They go into Georgia. They go into Ole Miss. They go into Bama. They're going to Tennessee. They're not going to North Carolina. They're not going to Boston College.
Right.
But you know, the funny thing is,
as a conference overall, yes, Beck faced much stiffer defenses in the SEC than what he's going to see in the ACC. So on paper, he should eat.
Yeah.
With this offensive line, he should be.
Yeah.
He should be in the Heisman.
But I think the point of better talent, because when you look at it, I'm looking at this one ranking here. It's by Phil Steele.
Now, on the defensive side, you on offense, you got
to think the top 10 quarterbacks projected. You got 3 of them in the top 10. That's from the ACC.
Yeah,
you got Hayes King, you got Carson Beck, you got Cade Klubnik. So talent wise, we got had the number 1 overall quarterback come out the ACC.
Oh no, talent wise, on the offensive side of the ball, I think the ACC with skilled players can match up better with SEC schools.
Yeah, now defensively,
on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to give the nod to the Southeast Conference because they are getting the better defensive tackles and the better linebackers outside of Miami and Syracuse. Clemson.
Right.
Because Clemson got some first round picks at linebacker.
Right.
Outside of them, and maybe Florida State, there's nobody else in the conference that scares me defensively. Louisville don't scare me. Virginia Tech, Duke, West Virginia, not West Virginia, Virginia. They don't scare me. Boston College don't scare me.
No.
California doesn't scare me. Stanford doesn't scare me. Now, if I got to play LSU, I know my O-line better be with it because they coming.
Yeah.
If I got to play against Ole Miss, Tennessee, Georgia, I know they got depth at defensive tackle and defensive end. They got some dudes. They coming.
Yeah.
Bama gonna come with it. That's why Florida State gonna have their hands full. I ain't saying they're gonna lose, but they better match their physicality.
Yeah, they gotta match their physicality.
I
know Eric.
I hope they pull the upset. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, part of me too. Just because they're an SEC school. Just because Alabama's an SEC school, I'm kind of hoping Florida State can pull off this upset.
On the flip side, I'm thinking LSU D line gonna be stronger than Clemson O line in that opener.
Yeah, that's gonna be a game. I don't know. So from what I remember, he flipped from the Gators to Georgia, but no, I don't think. Okay, we talking about Carson Beck?
Yep, he did. He flipped. At one, I don't know if he was committed to Miami or he just said it and changed his commitment. Miami was in play for him, but he was committed to Florida. And then he did flip to Georgia. Kirby came down there and rapped with him and brought him up to Georgia, and he saw what was up and he changed it. And I think he was still in high school when he did that.
Okay.
I knew it had something to do with Mark Richt. So he probably was already, before it was, maybe junior high, something like that. Mark Richt was probably already on it when Mark Richt was still at Georgia.
Yeah.
Miami,
he was
Mark
on
Richt came to Miami, and then that persuaded me, kind of lean toward Miami. And Mark Richt retired. He was free falling.
Yeah.
That's great. It says, don't sleep on Brantley, transfer from Michigan State.
Yep. Another one.
Yep.
He's another one. See, that's what I mean. Miami got competition in the room now. Now we're gonna have some competition.
Yeah.
All these guys from everywhere gonna be playing now. It ain't just one or two like you had last year. Now you got, and I'm not gonna sleep on Frederick, the freshman from last year.
No, he talked about Frederick Helderman talking about how he, for being with the squad last year, helping the guys communicate a lot better and a lot more. So, yeah, I think OJ is instrumental since he's been in the system.
Because they say that Xavier Lucas is real good, and they saying Damari Brown is back and he healthy. And he could be our 2 corners there.
Dude, he's got a nice choice of people to play and rotate.
Yeah. And that's what you want.
I'm gonna say this again. There was no communication on the back end last year. Guys were lost last year. That's why they were getting beat on by Virginia Tech and Cal. You lost Williams and Cam Kinchins as your safeties. Those were your quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Remember, the year before, they were in that back end. They had a much better secondary in 23 than what they had last year. When you lost those 2 safeties back there, that really hindered them.
And this competition, and y'all and Brandon, when Heatherman talked, you got to remember, when you got this type of depth that he thinks he has, if you're not playing hard, you're not swarming, you're not going to be on the field. I think they understand that going through practice. Now, that's all he talked about, playing fast. I want to see guys playing fast, 11 guys to the football. So, and understanding that, I think some of these guys know that's what he's saying. Like, hey, this is an open battle. Everybody can get some playing time back here, you know?
Yep.
So that's an interesting, just to tell you, we had a follow-up question. It said, follow-up question. It says, where are you guys putting Damari Brown? Backup nickel?
I don't know. I mean, you know, some people keep mentioning about him playing safety, you know, against a burn at safety or something. I don't know, but I mean, to me, I just like I said, I think it might come down to him and Lucas being our corners.
Yeah.
And, you know, and OJ, I don't know if they might switch him or I think they said too, Richards is back. Jadaius Richards, whatever his name is. I think he's supposed to be back too, so he might be, you know, a bit more in nickel or something. I don't know.
It's interesting because, like I said, when I listen to Heatherman's interview, it seems like the options are open, and he's still figuring out some things of what best suits some of these guys. That's why he kind of saying they rotational. Some of these guys, they might be in different packages. So it's interesting because I don't have the insight to really know how you feel about certain guys in certain positions. You know what I'm saying? We could just read off the tea leaves of how you feel about them and what he feel their natural fit is. I think guys like Brantley, he'll probably know a little better coming from the Big Ten, seeing him up close, personal, playing against him. He probably know like how he plays, you know. But some of these guys, you know, he's seeing, you know, not the first time, but the first time this year, you know, since he's got there. So, and it's going to work itself out. That's what I say.
I think Damari will probably be at corner.
Yeah.
You
think so? Yeah, think so. Be like,
mainly he'll be at corner.
It says blue chip ratio: Miami 64, Notre Dame 73, Florida 61, and Clemson 55. Blue chip ratio. I'm not familiar with that.
And you know, I don't really, you know, get into all that. Like, I still like the old days to where, you know, in the summertime, you ain't know pretty much who was on the team, you know what. You see college football season start, and you just see these guys out here playing, and they, you know, that's just what I pretty much go by. You know, who gonna be on their field and make plays? Who I mean, play football and be successful at it.
When it all boils down to who's ever on the field got to make plays. I mean, we can get in all this, and a lot of guys get caught up in, we'll say, their favorite player, and if he plays and if he doesn't play and all that. Look, you just all got to suit up. Whoever the coaches feel the best for the position, whether we think they are or not, that's who they feel, you know. And we'll be able to see it on film on the field, rather, per se. So.
And I'm not an Oklahoma fan or nothing like that, but I live out here close to Oklahoma, so I hear a lot. You know, and so, you know, a particular radio station that I was listening to, that's what they was talking about, how they brought in these 4- and 5-star receivers, but it's a little 3-star guy who's come in that right now, he the one that they like, wow, they got their eyes open on this guy. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't highly recruited. Now, exactly. He's hungry to be successful. That's the same way that you know, that's what I like. Like, man, just, you know, a guy who gonna get out there. If you're a 5-star, cool. You know, if you're hungry for it, and you know it shows in your work ethic, it shows on the field. Good deal. But
this is interesting from Teresa Collins. She said Miami is going to lose, and I'm assuming you're a female, so don't shoot me. Miami is going to lose a lot of players next year because they're not getting any playing time. That goes kind of what I was saying. It's kind of like it goes back if you saw earlier where we talked about the Kevin Beard situation, and when I talked about the backup quarterback, Emry Williams, you know, so they kind of blend in together. If you want to be here, you're going to find a way to get yourself where you need to be. We can't say the coach is not letting them get playing time. Maybe you not earning the playing time.
Exactly.
You know,
you got to face it. You know, you got to face it. You know, I'm going to go back again with like the young man, Ja'Cory Brown. And there was some people who was high on Jacory, and they was like, pretty much saying that too, that they ain't giving him a chance. They ain't giving him a chance. He looked good in that bowl game in New York, Pinstripe Bowl game, and he made some plays. And I was kind of high on him. And I was like, man, we don't need Cam Ward. We don't need Cam Ward. Let's go with Corey Brown. Right. And then the springtime came. He didn't perform well. I mean, you know, it's like at some point you got to just look at it and say, hey, man, the player just ain't, he ain't cutting it, you know. And it's kind of going that same way right now with Emry. I like him. I like what he did in the time that he got to play as a freshman. But again, it was like this spring, he kind of struggled.
And he admitted to it.
In fall camp, he's been kind of struggling. You know what I mean? So, you know, it just is what it is, you know.
And the one thing I do like about Emry, he admits to his fault. He's not blaming the coaches. He said, I got to get better.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess there's no other way to even clarify that. It says, hold on,
and it's common sense that, we're going to lose some guys because you just got, you know, too many guys. Like they're saying, Chance Robinson now look like he's coming along. Nye Carr look like he's coming along. You know, of course, JoJo Trader, they high on him. Malachi Tony.
Ray.
Keelan Marion. Ray Joseph. So, like, no, you ain't going to be able to keep all them guys. All of them, you know, 7 and 8 catches.
And they say hence why Horton left. But Horton went to was it Bama? Did he go to
I think Horton left. I don't think Horton left for competition. Horton left from what I heard. From what I was hearing, Alabama convinced him that Miami can't develop you as well as we can.
I heard,
but wasn't that in the midst of after
wanted Miami to give him some more money? And Miami wouldn't do it.
Right. Money played a factor.
And they didn't have Cam either at the time, remember? No, they didn't have Cam, right?
Oh, Cam was leaving.
He just left.
That's what I'm saying.
Cam was leaving, so he probably was thinking, who's gonna be my quarterback? Is it Emry? Alabama saying Alabama was telling him we're gonna have the better quarterback and we can develop you better.
Right.
And the bag on top of that.
Right, exactly.
I'm Miami.
Right.
That's what happened.
But then, what do you think when Carson Beck came over here? What he thought?
He teetered on that transfer portal for a few days before he just went ahead and made that commitment to.
He was
he was trying to negotiate. He used that transfer portal as a negotiation leverage. If Miami would have gave him more money, I think he would have stayed in Miami.
He would have stayed.
Alabama gave him more money, and I don't think Mario tried to suck up to him or beg him to stay. I think Mario.
That's why Mario didn't go all in on Cooper. Why am I give Cooper all this money to stay home?
Right, exactly.
Right.
I can spread that money out amongst a few players.
Right.
Versus putting all them in your basket and hoping that you turn out to be
All right. And then I just want to push back on the statement Teresa put up there. She said Miami keep pushing players back in the rotation. I said it's not Miami that's pushing the players back. If they can't get on the field, it's something the coach is seeing. They can't get them on the field. Now, what a player does when he goes to another school, he could shine. He could shine at another school, but that's not Miami's fault that he didn't. He just maybe that player was just better than him at that position.
And I'm gonna also say that this ain't again, these kids don't have this me mentality. They don't have this I'm supposed to start, I should be the guy type attitude. They are embracing this competition. So if I got 5, 6, 7 guys in the wide receiver room and they all banging it out, I don't think somebody gonna be mad because they on the bench and they ain't getting to start.
Right.
But if that was the case, JoJo would have bounced because he didn't get no click last year.
Right.
But when he got his chance in the bowl game, he showed you what he was all about.
Right.
Yep.
And since Horton bounced to Alabama, now who the number one? Who was projected to be the number one?
Right.
He just had to wait for his moment.
Right.
Exactly.
And he showed you in the ball game. Okay, if Horton want to bounce, I'm gonna show you why I can be a number one.
Right.
I was just as good as Jeremiah Smith, but Jeremiah was getting all the love. We went to the same school. The same quarterback was throwing it to both of us. They overlooked me. They overlooked me for Jeremiah. Okay, because Jeremiah was the 1 and he was the 2 in high school.
Right.
So Horton made his decision, like you said. He leveraged that transfer portal. He waited a few days to see if he can get a bigger bag. Alabama told him what he wanted to hear. I know that's what I read. That Bama said, "Look, man, Miami ain't developing you like we can." And watch, they was taking a knock at. They was knocking Kevin Beard, saying they ain't gonna develop you like we are. And you don't know who your quarterback gonna be because Cam left.
Right.
They didn't have Beck Beck wasn't there at the time, and he was like, "Man, am I gonna have Emry?" Emry wasn't doing so hot, so Horton was like, "Well, shit, more money, it's instability at quarterback.
Right.
They saying they can develop me better. By Miami, I'm gone. I'm going to Alabama."
Right.
Yeah, if it was about that too, at Miami, he was for sure gonna be number one.
Yeah,
he's not for sure number one at Alabama because of Ryan Williams. So he I think he left for the money. He did,
Yep. But so I mean, it is what it is. I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him.
Don't never get mad. This question says, do y'all think? There we go. Do the SEC develop better? That's an interesting question because didn't Miami finish like sixth in people being drafted last year, something like that? And they was in the top 10.
I didn't look at it, but
it was 7. I think it was 7.
Yeah, so I mean,
I'm not so sure if it's that they develop better. I'm convinced that for 15 years, the cable sports network has jammed down everybody's throat that this conference is the best conference and has been the best conference since they put that money behind them in 2008.
Exactly.
Ever since 2009 forward, they've been jamming it down your throat through commentary, through literature. That's all they've been saying. So all the top talent, all through the 20 teens, where were they going? They was going to Bama. They was going to Georgia. Look at Ole Miss when they had Nkemdiche. He a bust. He ain't turned to be. But out of high school, he was the number 1 recruit that year. He went to Ole Miss. They had like one of the best.
Exactly.
So Clemson had their share. They was getting a piece of that pie, and they ascended to winning 2 titles and playing in how many natties and lost a couple. And okay. But for the most part, the SEC was getting all the high school kids every year was like, man, I want to go play in the SEC.
Right.
It was very overwhelming. You had 2 schools leave the Big 12 to go to the SEC, a la Mizzou and A&M.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money was. Because the every cable sports network that's carrying all the games, that's trying to get all the eyeballs on the TV, they got 80% of the coverage.
Yeah.
They pushing their narrative. They're protecting their investment. I've been saying this for years. They're going to protect their investment. They're going to always come out and say, the SEC is the best conference. The SEC is the strongest conference. We get the best recruits. Yeah, when Nick Saban can show up in a helicopter and buy kids Chargers and Challengers.
And we all know a lot of people saying the Big Ten is the better conference, but a lot of people don't want to admit it.
Now you see ESPN backing off now, and they pushing the Big Ten a little bit.
Yeah.
Now here come Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC, but then you got USC and UCLA and Oregon going to the Big Ten.
Right. All of a sudden, not even a natural fit.
All this benefits the cable sports network because in the end, it don't matter who on the TV, you watching their network.
Right. That's crazy. It says
so for the last 15 years, they've been telling you SEC. Now they saying Big Ten now because now they saying that. They're not gonna never say the ACC. They're gonna always look at the ACC and the Big 12 as second tier.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Until somebody from one of those conferences knock one of them off.
Right. Yeah, true. It says Carson Beck committed to Florida in baseball.
Yeah,
that's what
he was a baseball player, and he was a damn good one too.
Yeah, it says, don't forget about O'Connor. I heard he's making a lot of noise at the corner position.
Yep. He's right. O'Connor is. These dudes, it's only going to get better starting the day with these pads.
And then so back to that comment about losing players. Yeah, we're going to lose some players because, you can't get all them dudes on the field.
if you do keep them all, that speaks to the culture and the climate of your program that they all decide they want to stay.
Right.
Everybody ain't gonna think like Emry and say, I need to make myself better. I'm not just gonna bounce.
Right.
Some kids might think like Isaiah Horton and another team come along. If Georgia gonna come along and get in your ear, or Clemson or Ohio State get in your ear and saying, look, you might not play in Miami, but we're gonna give you a chance to play here.
Right.
And we're gonna toss you a few more dollars too.
Right.
And we can see Mario, he ain't as cutthroat as Dion is. But I mean, you know,
right.
Coach Prime over there, Coach Prime will tell you, hey,
you might as well get in the portal.
I don't want you on my team.
Yeah, you might as well go. Yeah, you might as well go and get in the portal.
And, you know, and I think Mario will be like, hey man, you're too good. We can't really get you on the field. You know, it'll suit you better to go somewhere else. That's what, you know, I think he'll come down to that, like he did with the Moss kid. Like, weight ain't really picking up like we really needed to. You're a very talented player, but we can't use you here at Miami. It'll suit you better to go somewhere else.
Right. At least he's telling you up front, hey man,
right, exactly.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Everybody, you get in where you can fit in. Everybody not going to stay. Your kids just want to play, man. So they might go to a different school or even a weaker conference. They might go in the MAC or the AAC. They might, like I said, they might go to a Western Kentucky or Central Michigan. You know, to play.
He did. Cyrus Moss went to, I think, a MAC school or something like that. But last year he was balling.
He balling out. That's all. That's all some of these kids want to do. They may or may not make it to the league.
Right.
I watched the interview with Maurice Sykes. Maurice Sykes was a badass safety playing next to Sean Taylor, but he didn't get drafted.
Right. Yeah.
And the Saints brought him down and said, "Well, you might make the practice squad." And he was like, "Well, shit, I can languish in the league and bounce from team to team and be a practice." But he said, "Man, I had bills to pay."
You're right.
Right.
So
hey,
I did.
You got the bills.
He already had his application for the police department put in. So he said he did a construction job for 6-7 months, and then Fort Lauderdale end up calling him on the phone, and he a lieutenant now. Some people got bills to pay. They might have kids. I ain't got time to go. It's a dude on the railroad with me right now. Norfolk Southern tried to use him as a prop because he was on the practice squad with the Jets.
Right, yeah, I don't like that either when they do that.
I may or may not make this team, but I got bills to pay. So guess what?
Right.
He a conductor right now making 6 figures on the railroad because he didn't know, you know, I might get a $60,000-$70,000 contract to be on the practice squad with the Jets, but what if they cut me from the practice squad?
Right.
Somebody else gonna pick me up. In the meanwhile, I got bills and kids. I gotta find me a job. So guess what? Our guys gotta go back to being just like us.
Right.
Regular people are going to work.
That's it. Now, Barry Pitts says it's got to work to earn a starting spot in playing time. Mario is doing just like Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. Put the best guys on the field. Absolutely. That's the point we're making right there. Yeah. It ain't about one thing that we got to learn. And I'm going to say this because I know how a lot of fans get. We're not in high school. You don't get to dictate your favorite player. That's my son, this and that. This is a business. These coaches trying to keep jobs. That's right. You think they really want to just put somebody out there that ain't ready to play? This is a job for them. They trying to keep a job. And if you don't treat it like you trying to keep a job, you're going to end up on the bench or you're going to end up at another school. It's just how it is. You know, I don't even know any other way to put it.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Right.
This ain't high school. You can't go crying to the coach about why my son ain't playing. You need to go cry to your son and say, "What you doing? Why? What's the problem?
Right.
What's the issue going on?"
I forgot that guy's name, but there was somebody they was talking about it. They were saying he was doing good in fall camp on the first day or whatever, and I had never even heard his name before. I was like, "Who was he? Who was that?" I think this is his 3rd year that he been in Miami. And they were like, he doing well in fall. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's guys that stick it out because they understand. They understand. Sometimes the older generation, probably the older fans will understand that you had to wait your turn. Sometimes when the less talented guys come in and get impatient, you like, cool, they gone. That means I'm just moving right on up.
Right. You know? And the younger fans don't get it, I think. If you got to be an exceptional talent. an exceptional talent to get out there as a freshman and get clicked.
True.
Perfect example was DJ Williams. He come out of California, his freshman year on the 2000 team. He got some click in fullback. He didn't even play linebacker.
Did Dan Morgan too?
Right.
He played too. Yeah, Dan Morgan. Yeah.
But when you look at DJ, he got some reps at fullback and he performed. But he was at another level coming out of high school. He was that dude. He was like a Jeremiah Smith. He was like the old boy that was quarterback for Alabama that's playing with Carolina now. That the quarterback that lit Miami up. Bryce. Yeah. You have to be an exceptional freshman coming out of high school that you're gonna be on the field to see some playing time. You were that good. Some guy as good as Sean Taylor was. All he saw was special teams.
Right.
He saw special teams his freshman year.
That's what I'm saying.
As good as old boy was at tight end, he didn't play out there with Shockey. He was on special teams.
People forget about the grind. See, you know what I'm saying? All they see is the finished product. They don't see. Yeah.
Frank Gore, as good as Frank Gore was, he got to get in the game after Portis and McGay. He got some touches. Then they put him in the game, and he showed you what he did to work.
Yeah.
And you still behind Jared Payton and Najee. So these guys wasn't gonna transfer. They had to wait their turn.
That's why it's so easy to put on that.
Tyrone Moss, state champ, dude was cold, freshman. They wasn't gonna start him over damn Jared Payton. He got some click in 03.
Right.
Showed you what he was all about. But in today's game, with all the transferring, you have to be really exceptional as a freshman to come out like a Malachi Tony. He might be that one that I'm as an 18-year-old, I'm gonna come out here on this field and show you why I'm the truth. Like a Jeff Thomas did coming out of East St. Louis for Miami. I'm a freshman, I'm that guy.
Right.
I come out here as 18-year-old freshman, and I can show you that, hey, I'm ready to play with these 20 and 21 and 22-year-old men out here, and they seniors and juniors and fifth-year seniors, but I'm a freshman coming out of high school. I got the accolades and attributes to play out here with. A lot of them ain't ready.
No.
A lot of them get redshirted. And the fans got to understand that. Now, if these kids want to leave, they have the option to leave. If they want to stay and build up, and iron sharpens iron and make themselves better, that's only going to make the team better. It all come down to team chemistry, the culture, and if we got this me attitude versus a team attitude, like Damian Lewis said in this interview.
Right.
When everybody bought in and this is a team, it ain't about you as an individual and you or me, we a team.
Right.
We grind as a team.
And it's a difference too between a coach kind of telling you like, hey, kind of like you need to get in the portal because you can't get on. We don't think we got a spot for you here, kind of like Mario would do or Dion would do. And the difference between you just leaving and the coach thinking like, hey, I got a spot for him. We just got to build him up, get his body ready, get him ready so he can contribute to the team. So it's a difference. And some guys think that goes to any athlete, me, you, whoever, think they better than what they are. You know, so it just happens. So I just want to touch on that. It said Lucas, Damari, O'Connor, and OJ is going to be our core corners for the future. And don't forget about Ryan Mack. He's going to eventually get on the field. That was from Lord.
I know that they was hiring Ryan Mack last year, I guess, up to the point that he got hurt. And then I hadn't really heard anything from him. I hadn't really heard too much about him, these few days of fall camp here.
Right.
But I mean, we all I can say, man, is it seemed like we got some dudes,
Yeah.
Well, as a fan base, you can't do nothing but be happy about that.
Yeah. Exactly. Somebody said Horton was a slant king. That's what somebody put in the chat.
He was nice with it. He was strong. He didn't drop the ball. He had good hands.
Right.
I'm not taking nothing away from Horton. I think he only dropped one or two balls I could see.
Yeah.
He showed out in the Florida game the first year. He showed out in the game against South Florida, Cal.
Yep.
He showed out. It ain't on Kevin Beard.
Yeah.
Once again, he didn't know who his quarterback was going to be. He was
Right.
looking for more money. He leveraged that portal, and Alabama got in his head, man.
Yeah.
It's Alabama.
It says
It's Alabama. It wasn't standing
right.
Alabama.
Right. It says ESPN is all SEC. Hell yeah, they all SEC. Yeah. Hey, that's something you tell us something we don't know on that one. Shoot.
When they
He
put
probably looked at that room too, just like Nike. Nike hit the transfer portal because he was scared he wasn't gonna get on that field.
Yeah.
That was why.
Yeah.
and then he came back.
Yeah, and he came back, changed his mind.
What does that tell you?
But he was scared he wasn't gonna get on that field. He wasn't looking
That's
for more
telling
money.
me. That's telling me he probably had a talk with Mario, a talk with Kevin Beard, and they said, "Look, man, you can leave if you want. That's up to you. It's your right.
Right.
But if you want to come here and put in the work, there's a very good chance you will see the field." So he must have bought into that because he could have bounced. He could have went somewhere else.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
He was in the portal. It wasn't like nobody wouldn't have took him. Everybody looking for a wide receiver.
Right.
Everybody looking for some depth.
And all the talk was that either it was back to Georgia or Georgia Tech. That was so much of the talk.
Yeah.
He was probably headed to Georgia Tech.
It says Corey Heatherman raised the Minnesota Gopher total defense ranked from 69 to 5th in 1 year. I know that was impressive. I think I read that.
It's
yeah.
impressive. I read their only weakness was their secondary, but they were very good against the run. Now, like they were saying before, Miami's talent is far superior to what he had at Minnesota.
Right, exactly.
So if he puts that same scheme that he had in Minnesota with what he got in Miami, the numbers should be pretty darn good. This is something the national pundits wasn't talking about. They kept questioning their secondary. I don't know who's going to be back there and with this inconsistencies. And I said, if you just take what he did with Minnesota with a bunch of guys that were not known, some 2- and 3-star dudes, and they ascended to number 5 on total defense, what do you think he's going to do with a D-line and linebackers like that and this secondary with these guys like that? What do you think he can do with that?
Right. Crazy.
It's crazy what he can do with that. He's setting himself up for a couple of good years in Miami and maybe in 3 to 4 years, maybe getting his own head coaching job.
Yeah. That's super crazy.
I thought that same thing.
So, I mean, everybody should just relax, man, on the Miami camp. Just chill, man.
Hey, you know they can't help it. It says the SEC is great at developing, but the past couple of years, what conference won the Natty? Hey, got an interesting point there.
Well, yeah, because the Big Ten is starting to get people.
Yeah.
And certain ACC schools are getting people. Like I said, outside of Miami, Clemson, and Florida State, you know, I give Georgia Tech coaching staff. Georgia Tech got a good team. We don't play them this year. I'm tired of losing to them, but we don't play them this year. We don't play Georgia Tech this year. No, we don't. We had our 1-1. 2 years ago, it was at home and they lost because they didn't take a knee. And last year, they was on the road and lost to them. So we don't get them this year. So you know,
I'm ready to get Georgia Tech and North Carolina. Them two.
You don't get North Carolina to like 27 or something, 28 or something like that, I think.
All this bullshit they kept doing in North Carolina.
Do y'all agree with this? It says not only will Mario be transparent about having better opportunities somewhere else, he will put in a couple of phone calls and try to help them out, talking about players leaving the system.
Yep, he's done that.
Okay.
He'll throw you a lifeline and say, "Hey, man, they can do that. At least he helping you."
Yeah.
I heard that he did it with Zaquan Patterson.
Oh yeah.
And he was kind of being hard headed, but he didn't want to leave Miami. He didn't want to go. And,
he did.
He was slow about entering the transfer portal and everything.
Yeah.
Mario told him, you know, hey man, you got to hit the transfer portal, and you know we help you find somewhere to go.
Right.
He did.
Where'd he go?
Oklahoma State.
Well, shit, he out there, Cowboy Nation. So hey,
he gonna battle with Texas Tech and Oklahoma.
Yeah, he out there, Cowboy Nation. Say, I'm telling you guys, the future theater program for Division I Football will be Division 8A.
1AA.
Yeah.
What is North Dakota State? Are they AA? I think so.
Yeah, I think because they used to play South Dakota and all that for that championship when they had like Carson Wentz or somebody back in those days.
Yeah, I think North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Wyoming, all the stuff like that.
They ain't no slouches, man.
Nah.
Playoff stuff, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
They not no slouches, man.
Yeah. I remember when I was in Youngstown State used to be real good.
Yeah.
Real good.
Fresno, at one time, Fresno State had a nice. Last year, UNLV had a pretty good team.
Yeah. Last year before last too.
It's a lot of kids out here, man.
All right, it says, I think it's better now that kids have the choice. That's why Louisville have the running back they have. That's why Pitt has the running back that they have. All have All-Americans. Yeah, I mean, we are all for player empowerment, on that. So
Louisville got a great running back. He didn't do much against Miami last year, did he?
Right.
I think he did.
No, he didn't do nothing.
That's why I said I don't fear these teams. All these other guys are saying I'm worried about Louisville and I'm worried about playing in the cold. Dude, when you got the trenches like you got it, why would you worry?
Right.
Exactly.
If I got a three-headed monster at running back, if they not hurt, come on, man. I'm not worried. I'm just gonna feed these dudes. Go out there and eat, man. Wear these kids down. By the fourth quarter, you holding the fours up and they over there, but they over there gasping for air, like the 2011 team did against Virginia Tech when Lamar Miller was running down their throats.
Right.
Because Al Golden pounded them with the ball. Just we're gonna run it down your throats to where Virginia Tech D-line in the fourth quarter they was sucking wind.
Right.
That's all. With this type of line, that's all you got to do.
Right.
Just run it down their throats till you can stop it.
Right.
And when you finally stack the box, now I got these skilled players out here. I'm gonna kill you with.
Yeah, I said Miami at North Carolina. I think he says next year. Yep. Lost three there and lost last 5 straight as well at Notre Dame, Clemson, and South Carolina.
North Carolina been getting the best of us for a good little minute, man. I'm really man.
Yeah.
But then also too, did y'all see the stat on Notre Dame's running back? I didn't know that.
Which
Love is the truth. Love is the truth.
We watched them personally here in St. Louis, so I mean, I watched them a lot in high school.
But they was like he didn't rush over 50 yards, over 50 yards on pretty much like like they ranked opponents there.
Yeah, the thing with Love was because they had the other back, the big bruising back, and they were splitting time. Love is a home run hitter that's kind of coming into his own because I mean, Notre Dame they pound, and then ultimately
they play like Detroit do with Montgomery and
what was the other back they had?
The other Lions running back that they split time between Montgomery and him.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I had Montgomery in my fantasy, but that's why I'm not going to take him now because I want a back that's going to be an every down back all game. That's going to give me my points. If I got to split time with another back, they're going to be splitting carries.
Right.
That's how Notre Dame is.
And on top of that, Love was hurt. Like he was banged up. Like what the last third of the season.
Right. Love was nice, but when he played against ranked teams that had some straight up D's.
Right.
That's why I say I'm not worried about. I don't want to get into the first game because it's too early. But I'm not. They don't bother me. They don't worry me, man.
Right. Jeremiah Gibbs. That's what it was. Gibbs. Somebody.
Yeah, Gibbs. We had Gibbs and Montgomery. So pick your poison.
Like their slug. Yeah. It's like so. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, it all goes back to physicality with that. We don't know because my honest take is Miami got to show me the defense better. It's better than it was last year. They just got to show me.
That's all.
So I try to stay even keel. So I don't know if that defense can come out and play like a physical Big Ten defense. That's what it's going to take to slow him down. Because if you play like some of these ACC defenses, he gonna run wild. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. So, that's just an honest assessment from a Miami fan. They're gonna have to be physical with that offensive line.
I think Miami fans need to appreciate one thing with Mario. The fact that
hey, what's that quarterback issue going on? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out there.
He coached for Saban.
Who was that?
He learned a lot.
You're talking about the coach?
Mario coached under Nick Saban.
Okay.
He was on Alabama staff.
Hold on a second. Give
Who
me a
is
second.
They was kind of like a lot of those players that Alabama was getting. Mario was the one who was getting them guys.
Yeah. What's going on with the Notre Dame quarterback situation? I know they had the
key.
They was talking about the freshman.
He didn't want to leave.
And somebody else that was battling it out. So I'm guessing I keep seeing people put in the chat that they're having quarterback issues right now in Notre Dame. Anybody know? If y'all do know, put it in chat. Let us know. Because I haven't really
heard something like that too. Like I think it was supposed to have been that freshman guy or something like that. He had a real bad day at fall camp. He looked pretty horrible. So,
okay.
But if he's a freshman, that's what you expect.
Okay. Okay.
I think Miami's gonna win this game. I think we're gonna be fine. And
I think Mario will have a good game plan against him. I think he'll come out. The only reason I put that emphasis on the defense is going to have to show me, because they just going to have to show me. It's just that simple. I mean, there's no way you can say you took a team that looked like they looked defensively last year and just say they finna come out and be a top 10 defense without showing us something. That's my point. When I look at it, it's just you can be optimistic, but you gotta show me.
You gotta show. You gotta show. You gotta show. And this first game is gonna say a lot. I can't stress.
CJ Carr, quarterback battling down at Notre Dame. That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said last week, for me personally, everybody has their own feeling. The two most important games to me are the first one and the ACC championship game.
Right.
A lot of people are already willing to concede Miami taking a loss to Clemson, but making the playoff. And I don't take that approach. I'm not taking that approach. We've seen this. We've seen that movie already. We told you. We've seen it. We've seen it in 2017. I'm not satisfied by just making the ACC title game and then losing just to make the playoff. Right. I would rather win the ACC title game and get in the playoff anyway. Why you want to take this? Well, we're going to lose to Clemson. Nothing about Clemson scares me.
Nothing.
You beat them 2 years ago with Emry being handcuffed.
Right.
Going into overtime. Because you had your safeties back there, Williams and Kitchens, too. You had old boy and linebacker that transferred to Missouri. The defense was under Lance Guidry now.
Right.
You took him to overtime. Now, Brashard Smith transferred and went to SMU. He scored the first touchdown for you, and Cade Klubnik got better as a quarterback since 23, but nothing.
Right.
All them, they had that, what is his name, number 11, badass dude at linebacker. They had all studs on defense that year.
Right.
And Miami took them to overtime and won that game.
Somebody laughing because you said handcuffed.
He was. And Dawson handcuffed Emry Williams in that game. How many times did they run the ball? He didn't throw the ball a lot in that game against Clemson.
The funny part now, this is the perfect thing we talk about players transferring. Just think if Steve Angeli wouldn't have went to Syracuse and stayed at Notre Dame. The quarterback.
Yep.
I think, that would have been something, because he showed you something when he came in as a backup. I thought he was a pretty good quarterback anyway. He was just sitting behind old boy. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know the situation of why he left and went to Syracuse and everything, but if he probably stuck it out, after seeing what they seen in practice, he definitely would have been a starter there. So it's just interesting how stuff goes. You leaving there and then going to Syracuse, but he got talent over there at Syracuse too. So
yeah,
we got Juan up in here. What's up, Juan? I hadn't seen you in a while. Let's see what you put up here He says, Juan put, good afternoon, gentlemen. So far, Mario players' talent and roster building is combined of aces Josh Moore, the tight end room, Hayden Lowe, Xavier Lucas, Poiser, Marty Brown. Shh. Carson Beck can throw now. I like that. Oh man.
I think Beck gonna be fine, man. I'm not worried about nothing about him being an interception machine or whatever it is. I ain't seen last year where he was so bad at Georgia, like people was saying and all that. I'm
Nah.
like, I mean, dude, like you get him a few more minutes on that clock, they probably complete their comeback against Alabama.
Yeah.
And it was mainly because of him. The second half, he was killing Alabama.
I agree.
And so I'm like, I think he's gonna be fine. And like I said, I think this is the year we'll really see the birthing of the turnaround for Miami. I really do.
Right. All right, Eric, we're gonna wrap this up for the day. We appreciate everybody coming in. We appreciate you, Brandon, for coming to the show again. Eric, you want to go on and take us on out?
I'm happy fall camp is here. Today is full pads. So far, so good with the attitudes and the chemistry coming from the team. Things are looking pretty up. Follow what these national commentators and bloggers are saying and listen to what the words they say. Peep out what they say and judge for yourself. And I implore the Miami fan base to not be impatient. The only expectation you should have is that they're going to have competition and that these kids are going to battle. And we all should hope that nobody gets hurt or have a severe injury during this fall practice because we got 4 weeks to the day. 4 weeks from today is when it's on. Yep. But before we get to that, the next 2 weeks are going to be very critical because these next 2 weeks of practice are going to set up the last 2 weeks before the game.
Right.
These next 2 weeks are going to be critical as far as positioning, who's going to be 1, 2, and 3, who's consistent. So let's just enjoy this ride. Enjoy the rest of this summer. The seasons are going to change. The days are already starting to get shorter. If you work early in the morning like I do, you can see it.
Yes, sir.
Let's just enjoy the rest of this summer and look forward to day and just watch all these bloggers and commentators and see what they're saying. They're gonna throw the negativity at Miami. See for yourself. Just be glad that we got depth at every position, that these kids are battling and going to continue to battle. And I think we're going to be in really good shape come 4 weeks from today. I think 4 weeks from today going to define what kind of season we have.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. If you ever subscribe to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that like button on your way out the door. Same time, same place next week. We appreciate everybody. We out.
Sir, appreciate y'all for having me.
No problem, bro.
Hey, man, appreciate you.